DPS needs their signature Lightcones way more than anyone else. This changes everything. Sunday at E0, S0 and E0, S1 is a completely different unit. From negative skill point to positive skill point. The best part is it's completely free. It's not even a 4-star gacha. It is literally from to be most likely one of, if not the worst signature Lightcones I have ever seen in my entire gosh darn life. Previously on our Eidolon tier list, as well as relic efficiency tier list, right? We have essentially ranked all of the relics, right? Which relics should you farm in 2025? Which Eidolons should you get in 2025? And now I think this will be kind of our final series. Which Lightcone should you pull in 2025? Honky Starbucks. As usual, let me change this. Okay, so this is going to be our Lightcone tier list, right? Which Lightcone should you be pulling for in 2025? And starting off with, okay, I don't know why Palm Top included the standard Lightcones, but sure, let's just include this, right? Because it's not like you're ever pulling for them anyways. Nobody pulls for the standard Lightcones. So this is an Adios. This is honestly, I feel like Bronya S1, especially if you have no other alternatives for like your Babin S1 or like Sunday S1. This is probably one of the higher values one. This is gone. This is technically not too shabby for Aventurine, right? But nobody pulls for this anyways. Bailu is gone, Yanqing is gone. Himeko Lyco, I think this is a pretty situation. So I'll probably rank something like this. Probably list Japar a little bit higher and Bailu a little bit higher. Then the rest is just a completely goddamn useless, right? So that is gonna be that. How about buying them in the shop? Nope. Nope. Back in 1.0, maybe you could consider, like early version of Honky Starbucks, you could consider spending your Star Glitter to get a 1 copy. Especially like, for example, like Babin, right? When Babin released, if you didn't want to pull for Babin's Ninja Lightcone, I think spending like 30 pulls for this, it saves you like 70-ish pulls. So you're kind of like getting it at half price. So something to consider way back in the days. Nowadays, it's kind of like yeah, I personally wouldn't do that. And most free-to-plays most likely wouldn't even consider this in the first place. Because a lot of free-to-plays, they just want to pull. They want to pull, and pull more. No free-to-plays would think, okay, fuck 30 pulls, I'm just going to get a Lightcone. So, that's just being a realistic one, right? Okay. First Lightcone. Sele's Lightcone from 1.0. As per usual, let's just pull up their effects real quick. Okay, this needs to get away. Sele's Lightcone from 1.0. Oh, I really wish that we could have seen this from the date of release. Is that how it works? It's not based on the date of release. Oh, that's just really, really bad. Yo, Pride Win, can we get this on the date of release? Sort by date. Okay, this is just a bit cooked. Alright. In the night, increase crit rate by 18%. For every 10 speed exceeding 100, basic and skill damage increased by 6%. I'm not going to care about S5, only S1. Crit damage of their ultimate by 12%, up to 6 times. So if you do have 60 more speed, you're going to be getting a, what is this? 36% more basic attack and skill damage, as well as a 72% crit damage for the ultimate. This Lightcone, if we didn't have something called Cruising in the Stellar Sea, I would say this is pretty good. Unfortunately, Cruising in the Stellar Sea is such a great alternative that I would say this value is probably not that high. Almost no other units can make use of this Han Lightcone, maybe with the exception of Feixiao to a certain extent, but that is still really, really bad. Alright, because technically Feixiao is not too bad, right? Because you have the crit damage for your ultimate, and she does have a pretty decent amount of speed, but you are never gonna be getting 160 speed anyways. But aside from these two, I really wouldn't think it's that good, so I'll probably park it in the top of the adios category. If you're thinking about pulling for vertical investments for a Scylla team, I think I'm just better off pulling for like your support items, so or even your support Lightcones, and probably get a better value. All right, so that is gonna be that. Jing Yuan's Lightcone. Okay. Before Dawn. Increase crit damage by 36%, skill and ultimate by 18%. The damage, as well as after a follow-up attack, increase your follow-up attack damage by 48%. This was a really, really, really good Lightcone when it first launched, because every single evolution unit could make use of this. Your DPS Herta, I'm talking about baby Herta, your DPS Savao, don't really care about follow-up, but it's still pretty decent. Your DPS Himiko, and of course Jing Yuan. So back then it was really, really good. But unfortunately, after a while, we got introduced to more and more evolution Lightcones, right? We have Argenti, which technically could still kind of use before Dawn. We have our Jade Lightcone, which, you know, for the first time, we finally got a crit rate mainstay. And then now we have D Herta's Lightcone. I would say that his value is higher than Scylla for sure, because there's not ever a chance where you had a decent alternative in terms of like your Herta store, alright? Genius Repose is also not too bad, but the step up is still, I would say, more considerable compared to Scylla. In any case, it's not that crazy. I will still park it around the category. I'll park it around the top of category. Now, it's not going to be, I guess, unfortunate, right? And after this one, I am going to be ripping, absolutely eviscerating this butter bitch. Incessant Rain. Holy shit. AHR 24%, crit rate increase if you have 3 or more debuffs by 12%, and after using basic skill ultimate, 100% chance to implant Aether Code on a random target that does not have it, and it receives 12% increased damage for 1 turn. This has to be most likely one of, if not the worst signature Lightcones I have ever seen in my entire gosh darn life. It is so weird, and I feel like the way they went about this road was to sell E6 DPS Silverwolf. That is the only way I can explain it, because there's no world that Silverwolf will give a shit about crit rate. Genuinely, this was the only way I can believe that they wanted this to be this way, right? But aside from that, there are so many fundamental flaws with this Lightcone that it is just horrendous. I won't talk about the opportunity cost first. Let's just talk about the goddamn Aether Code. Because why the fuck does this last only for 1 turn? It lasts for 1 turn. So the moment you go your first time with your unit, so you hit them, implant a code, the next time the enemy takes action is gone. The fuck? Implant Aether Code on a random target. As if Silverwolf's weakness implant is not random enough, this is applied on a fucking random target. To combine everything off, the absolute worst portion of this Lightcone is after the wearer uses basic skill or ultimate, which means the fucking attack that applies the fucking damage, it doesn't even gain the debuff. This debuff is only applied after. That's fucking insane, bro. So, for example, if you are building a DPS Silverwolf, right? You have an E6 Silverwolf. You cast your goddamn ultimate. This ultimate damage, it wouldn't even get this 12% increased damage until your next ultimate. That's how unbelievably cooked this shit was. So the only way you could actually gain this increased damage is you actually implant a skill or a basic first, and at the same turn, you cast your ultimate. Then, back then, DPS Silverwolf, this ultimate damage, it will be pretty considerable. Alright, so from a baseline itself, this is already really, really bad. And then it got even worse because we have so many good Nihility Lightcones. This Lightcone, I think when it first launched, I think we can all agree this was the GOAT. This was the greatest of all time, right? Pella used this, Silverwolf used this, our 2-turn ultimates. Absolutely diabolical Lightcone. And when this thing got re-ran, everybody was cheering. Hail that way for introducing this to the shop, right? Diabolical, right? And then we have goddamn Good Night and Sleep Well for a diabolical 72%. Sorry, is Sunset? Yeah, 72% damage buff. And then we have things like Resolution, which is 16% defense down, and is 100% base chance. And it applies to everyone. Wait, does it apply to everyone? No, I don't think it applies to everyone. I think it's the main target. Wait, actually, correct me wrong. I'm a tourist. It's only the one target. Okay, wait, my bad. Applies to the one target that doesn't have it. That was my bad. Because I keep using this with Pella. I'm like, oh, okay, Pella has an AoE ultimate. Okay, but in any case, not only does it have a absolutely dog shit base kit, it also has so many more or less good, if not even better, 4-star alternatives, that this will be our first Adios Lightcone in a limited 5-star. I would dare say this is comparable to one of the worst Lightcone of all time, which is Yanqing's Lightcone. And I'm gonna actually rank this even lower than Yanqing because some unfortunate souls actually paid money for this. Yep, you actually intentionally want to get fucked in the ass by incessant raid. To be fair though, the art is not too bad. Alright, to be fair, the art is honestly not too bad. So, take it as you will. Loucha is a Lightcone. Loucha is a Lightcone. This was honestly a pretty interesting addition because it was one of the first Lightcones that introduced energy regeneration. Aside from quid pro quo, shared feeling, all that kind of stuff, a 5-star limited that can actually have this energy regeneration. So at S1, you can gain up to 9 energy, right? Up to 9 energy. And after you cast your ultimate, your allies gain speed for 1 turn. Unfortunately, I would say this Lightcone is honestly not too bad as a standalone. At least energy, speed, increasing the base stats, they're all not too bad. But opportunity cost, unfortunately, reduced the reliance of this abundance Lightcone, right? We have perfect timing, which is pretty decent outgoing healing. We have post-op conversation to increase our awareness, energy regeneration. Quid pro quo is absolutely the goal, and everybody has quid pro quo. Shared feeding, Loucha didn't really use this that much, right? Because this skill, unfortunately, it doesn't trigger on Loucha's cleanse, the auto cleanse. This will only trigger if you use his skill by himself. So if Loucha could actually cast this during the auto cleanse, I think this would honestly be a really, really good alternative. But unfortunately, it's not really the case. Until Huohuo came along, we didn't really see that high of a usage. But opportunity cost was a little bit too high to consider spending what could potentially be a DPS or a support item. And I think we can all collectively agree, for the most part, DPS needs their signature Lightcones way more than anyone else. I think almost every single DPS in Honkai Star Rail, you get a pretty substantial increase either to your damage or your rotations for a DPS. Support, I would say, is rank 2, and sustain is kind of like the least importance, right? So because of that, I think I will rank this at like the tip top of Adios, because I really don't recommend anyone even considering this in 2025. Not to mention it's fucking Loucha, guys, right? So it is Blade. The unreachable side. Holy throwback. Crit rate 18% as well as max HP 18%. When warriors attack or consumes their own HP, their damage is increased by 24%. Back then, this was pretty much the only alternative that you ran on Blade, because it was either this or Secret Vow, which let's just be honest, it's really just not too good. Right, it's really just not too good. So if you were a Blade main back in the days, I think your whatchamacallit, the willingness to pull for this Lightcone was quite high, because you really had no other options. So to be fair, this Lightcone was a pretty substantial increase in terms of performance for Blade. Right, it was pretty substantial. But in 2025, no other units really cares about this, and Blade himself is not doing too hot, and the amount of Stellar Jades that you would have invested into the unreachable side, you could most likely probably just go for like your additional supports, right? Your support Lightcones, or maybe your support Islands, because at the end of the day, 70 pull is 70 pull, right? Or maybe even an E1 Blade, which would have increased Blade's damage by a lot more compared to the signature weapon. Okay, I'm not gonna say anything. Essentially, me personally, I think right now, if you guys want to continue using Blade, if you guys really, really love Blade, I guess it's not too shabby. I'm just gonna leave it as that. I'll just name it like the... I would say at least it's better than Loucha, in my opinion. Alright, for now. For now, I would say it's better than Loucha, but I'm not too comfortable with this Lightcone. In fact, it is gonna be lower than Himiko's Lightcone, so I'm just gonna be leaving this here. Okay, let's just move on. Kafka's signature Lightcone. Kafka's signature Lightcone. Patience is all you need, which is something that gacha players do not have. Increased damage dealt by 24%. Speed buff of up to 14.4% at 3 stacks, as well as an 100% chance to inflict erode, which means you get this additional little lightning DOT. Right, I would say Kafka's Lightcone, the damage not that important. This too, I would say it's pretty decent. Any form of DOT you apply, it is gonna be helping us to get the trigger right. And speed, frankly speaking, is pretty much one of the most important stats for any DOT units. You want them to move, you know, their respective speeds, because it was basically either speed or attack. You can't really build anything else. And getting this 14.4 speed, especially back then before we had access to like our Ruan Mei, our E2 Bubble, our E1 Huohuo, our 6% speed, you don't really have a lot of ways to increase the speed for your DOT units. And even if we do have it now, your DOT is still likely going to be running a 4-piece DOT set, right? Your 4-piece prisoners. So speed is a pretty good stat to have on a signature Lightcone. I would say it kind of reminds me a little bit of like the unit itself, until I see DOT getting a, you know, a revive, right? A revive. Unless you are already a DOT main, I don't think you need to consider jumping to DOT right now. So if you're already a DOT main and you haven't pulled for Kafka's sake, I think this will be pretty decent. I don't know if how future meta is gonna be like for DOT, but I would say we can just kind of chill a little bit, right? We don't have Kafka's rerun anyways. We can just chill, see. Maybe if the future DOT units come out, they have a rerun for Black Swan Kafka, and then we can kind of just make our decision by that point of time. Right? So for now, I think I'm gonna put this at like the tip top of the tip top of So that is gonna be that. E2 Dale. Brighter than the sun. Crit rate 18%. Increase attack by 18% up to 2 times, which is 36, as well as a 6% ER up to 2 times, which is 12%. This Lightcone stats, they are honestly really, really good. It does change your rotations for both E0 Dale as well as E2 Dale, specifically the energy regeneration portion. But back then, we also had less access to energy regeneration as a whole. Right? Nowadays, we are getting units at Sunday, you know, we're getting more additional action value advancers, you know, we have Huohuo nowadays. RMZ is also a thing now with the additional Mimi charge. So it is not as difficult to run energy regeneration. And if you want to run a best in slot Dale team, Sunday is technically his best in slot support. Alright. Especially at E0S1. So I would say it has less impact now, but not completely useless. One thing is no other destruction unit can really make use of the Dragon's Call because it's basic attack, right? Your Jingliu can't use this. Your Blade, I mean, sure, because even though the attack is not important, but I guess the energy is not that bad. Right, and what other destructions units? Basically, not a lot of people can really make use of the way we can apply this generation. Yunli, yeah, I guess Yunli could, but Yunli's Lightcone is just way more important than this because of the taunt value thing here, right? But I digress. I would say for now, it kind of falls in a similar position as our General's Lightcone, but maybe a little bit more valuable than before, though. Because for now, our Jing Yuan, or not just Jing Yuan, but erudition class, we have a lot of different shit. Whereas for Dale, I would still keep to this particular one, especially if you're somebody that owns E2 Dale and you love Dale, then running this, it could be quite nice. Unless Mighty comes out and something crazy happens, then but that's a completely different thing, right? So that's good. Fuxuan Lightcone. Okay, this Lightcone is honestly one of the better ones. Not really because of the HP, the sustain, but the utility. The utility that this thing provides. We have max HP for Fuxuan, energy regeneration for Fuxuan, increased damage for entire team by 9%, as well as at the beginning of each wave, restores HP equal to 80% of all lost HP. For your Fuxuan owners, you guys can attest to how much of a quality of life this was, especially in simulated universe. If you ever get hit with those kind of shit like, oh, you have 1% HP left, you lost the Galactic Lotto ticket, or you whatever, for whatever reason you left 1 HP, just slap this on, switch into Fuxuan, and then you instantly start back on again. So this is a really, really good quality of life, and I would not understate this value. Energy regeneration as well as the damage, they are also both pretty good. The HP, I wouldn't say is that important because Fuxuan, you should be building her to be pretty beefy anyways, right? But I think all these are good enough such that I can rank this as one of the I guess category. If you are pulling for Fuxuan right now and you want to improve this kind of like quality of life things, I think this would be a pretty good pickup. In fact, I would dare say this might give you even more utility than her Idol 1. Because Idol 1 is legit just a 30% crit damage. And in this day and age, it's not good enough anymore. Whereas all these things like ER, team-wide damage, and as well as the HP utility, I would say it might give you more comfort compared to just a simple 30% crit damage, right? So I'm going to leave this here. In fact, I'm going to keep this bad and Bronya. So that's going to be that Jingliu signature Lightcone. I shall be my own sword. Crit damage by 20%. And when an ally gets attacked or lose HP, up to 3 sets of Eclipse. So this is gonna be 54%, right? 54%. And ignores 12% of the enemy's defense. Removed after the wearer uses an attack. This Lightcone was night and day between Fall of an Aeon for Jingliu. Because Jingliu had a ridiculous amount of attack from her passive trace. So she didn't really care about attack that much. Therefore, getting an upgrade from Fall of an Aeon to S1, it was pretty substantial. Not to mention, if we do use this, a lot of times you can see Jingliu players, they run the 4-piece quantum set. Because you're stacking this with defense down on the signature Lightcone, you're most likely running her with Pella, with resolution that's going to be 58% from the 42 plus 16. And then if you want to slap on an E1 Ruan Mei, that's even more defense down. So this helps us stack on a very, very high amount of defense down. Maybe nowadays that might not be the comp anymore because we do have a Sunday, unless you get an E1 Sunday. In any case, for a Jingliu upgrade, this was very, very substantial. Very, very substantial. Technically, you could use this with other destruction DPS units, because as long as your ally, any ally, gets attack or lose HP, you can get a stack. So before you cast your next attack, getting this against a an AoE attack, it wouldn't be too crazy to imagine. And this is applied to your next attack. So not just your basic, not just a skill, not just auto, any sort of attack would be able to gain this benefit. So with that, I would say that if you still want to play Jingliu, right? I'm assuming that if you're considering this, is it gonna be worth it for Jingliu? I would say it is pretty worth it, especially if you still want to play Jingliu. I would put it around this ballpark, because there really isn't quite a lot of alternatives you can go for, and this is a pretty big upgrade for Jingliu mains. If you don't care about Jingliu, you don't even have to think about it in the first place, right? So that is gonna be that. Topaz Lightcone. Okay, I am not gonna beat around the bush. Topaz Lightcone is really, 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 really good. Topaz might not be, that irreplaceable because of the existence of Hunt Mark 7, but this Lightcone is actually really, really good. 18% crit rate, follow-up damage increase by 50%, as well as this tame debuff, up to 2 stacks. So you do get a 24% increase in crit damage for all allies. This can also stack. So if you run 2 Topaz Lightcone, you can in fact stack your tame debuff, which I'm not sure if it's intended, but that is pretty diabolical. I would say that even if you don't, this Lightcone, I will feel it's so good, even if you don't pull Topaz, this Lightcone still has value. And I wouldn't say this for a lot of units. Very few units in HSR would I say you can consider their signature Lightcone without even pulling for the unit itself. And for that reason, I do believe that Topaz, especially for somebody that wants to use follow-up team comms or running comments and whatever, I'm gonna say this is a... I think I'm all in might be valid here. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna be I'm all in. If you're someone that uses follow-up, this is a pretty fucking diabolical. Okay, I think my condition for I'm all in is the Lightcone is so good, you can skip a unit just for the Lightcone. I think that would be the way I go about it. And this does, in fact, hit the criteria. So Topaz, congratulations. The Meow Meows, the kitties, helped us secure our first ever I'm all in. So that's it. Next is Huohuo's Lightcone. Huohuo's Lightcone. Knight of Fright. ER by 12%. When an ally uses ultimate, restores HP equals 10% of max HP for the lowest amount. And when you provide healing, increase the healed ally's attack by 2.4% up to 5%. So that's gonna be 12%. I would say this is okay. But it kind of reminds me of like Loucha's Lightcone. It's not like this Lightcone is bad, right? Because the utility from energy regeneration, a little bit of an attack buff, and this is technically like a little bit of like an emergency heal. I would say the utility is not that. It's just that we have a lot of good 4-star abundance Lightcones. So Huohuo is kinda innocent, or rather the Lightcone is kinda innocent, but just that so many of these can kind of give you the value you would seek from either getting more, casting ultimate more frequently, or just giving general team or utility, right? The only good thing that I would say none of the 4-star shields can replace is the emergency heal. This emergency heal. For Huohuo specifically, I think her heals are, respectfully speaking, one of the more questionable sides. Her heals can be a little bit questionable. Alright, she can't prevent one-shots, and if the enemies attack you too fast, you really are just relying on your respective turns to heal back up. So if they do like a big burst of damage, it's kinda jover, But this does in fact give us a little bit more of a leeway because it gives you this emergency heal, right? So I would say between this and Loucha, this is going to be ranking better than Loucha. But I wouldn't say it's going to be ranking too high up. So I would say probably somewhere around Jing Yuan. Okay, you know what? I'll clutch it somewhere around Jing Yuan's caliber, right? Would be even higher if you need the emergency heals very, very frequently. Would be a little bit lower if you don't care about the emergency heal. So that's gonna be okay. Argenti. An instance before a gaze. Crit damage 36. Ultimate damage increase based on your max energy up to 180. This is going to be 0.36 times 180, which is 64.8% of your ultimate damage. It's really, really good if you can trigger up for a unit with an extremely high ultimate energy cost. But you know, the Herta kinda came out. Not just in terms of her signature Lightcone, which honestly gave us a lot of value, right? 12% crit rate, additional 60% ultimate damage, which is quite literally 4.8% lower than Argenti himself, right? And you get 1 skill point back. But this is, of course, assuming that we are actually consuming the big ultimate and not the small ultimate, right? That's not really the main thing. The main thing is Argenti's role right now, right? Nothing to do with Lightcone itself, but Argenti's role right now in the current state of the meta, especially with Herta, he's kind of like a battery that wants to run past key nowadays. In fact, he is one of the best batteries for Herta because his ultimate energy cost is only at 90. And he gains a lot of energy by himself. Just using the charges, right? Using the skill, attack 5 enemies, you gain even more energy. So Bro's role kind of changed from a main DPS to a support. So not really the Lightcone's fault, but it's more like, okay, you know what? Let's just blame Herta, right? We're just gonna blame Herta. I would probably rank this at kind of like the bottom of it's just really not that good. Because even if you want to give Argenti like a DPS Argenti, right, you could just run Herta's Lightcone and you would essentially do a very, very similar thing. Alright, so it's adios now. Okay, the rank 1 Argenti main state is adios. So okay, Argenti. Okay. Adios Genti Lightcone. So that's gonna be okay, this is good. Okay, hey, no more sad news. Be happy because look at this butter bitch. Our first ever 5-star harmony. Pass self in mirror. Break effect by 60%, allies damage by 24%, 1 skill point recovery, as well as 10 energy for all allies. This is a really, really good Lightcone. One thing I want to point... The only thing I don't like about this Lightcone is this stupid-ass piece of shit is damage percent. So your break team, which is essentially what your Ruan Mei is dedicated to, this is completely fucking useless. So I'm not sure if they lack the foresight to design this for break team. Like literally, even if this changed to attack, at least units like your Firefly or like even like your Fugue or even Lingsha could make use of it. I don't know why the fuck they make it damage percentage. So this is like my only gripe with this Ninja. I think they didn't think far enough, right? They didn't think about Super Break. They didn't think about, okay, let's just be real, they probably thought about Super Break. They didn't think about Fugue, right? They didn't think about our girlfriend. They didn't think that they're all gonna skill of attack. And then this just kind of like, yeah, it is what it is. This is the only part that I would say is a bit of a waste. And I would say that at this niche in the meta game, Ruan Mei is more or less a break slave. It is what it is. in terms of hyper carry, she got replaced by the Bird brothers, the Bird siblings, right? Either Sunday or Babin, basically just doing way better for a hyper carry, assuming you're not running a sustainer team. For DOT, Babin is there. For crit DPS, and I just mentioned, follow-up DPS, same thing. Her role essentially right now, the only way, or rather a niche that cannot be replaced, is kind of just your Braid team. And even that, you could say for players that didn't get Ruan Mei, and you pull for like a E1 Fugue, her reliance also kind of went down. Luckily for us, Winner's Regency can stack, so it's not that bad. But I would say that in this day and age, Ruan Mei's use is basically a break slave. So with that considered, right? Nothing to do with Lightcone, but there's just a little bit of a place in the current meta now. Break effect by 60% helps us stack on the 180 a little bit more efficiently, but I would say this is also not important anymore because like we have a shit ton of external break effect sources nowadays, right? So that's that. The skill point and the energy though, these two are like the important things. Energy of each wave, quite a big quality of life, mainly for Harmony Trailblazer, because you essentially guarantee turn 0 ultimate. So that is a very, very decent quality of life. You could not rely on this if you're running Harmony Trailblazer with Fugue, and then you break a couple of like imaginary weak minions. You get some external breaks, so technically you could still get like a turn 0 ultimate. So with Fugue, with Fugue, this is a little bit less relevant. This, I would say, is probably, at this point of time, the most important part. I think we can all agree that all of our break units, they want to spend skill point, right? They're all selfish fucks. Fugue is the only one that, you know, is not that skill point greedy, right? You cast one skill, but then after a while, you need to cast it again. Not the most friendly. Lingsha, bro, is basically a DPS. Sometimes I don't even want to give my DPS the fucking skill. I give it to Lingsha. Right, just let her spam the fucking bunnies and then just make the bunnies come. And then for all of our break DPS, obviously you want them to cast your skill points, right? So for Firefly, especially E0, your Rappa, you want to get to ultimate as fast as possible. For Boothill, you need to cast your Pokke trick shot to get your. So every single break DPS, they want skill points. So generally as a whole, aside from Ruan Mei herself, everybody wants to use skill points. Oh wait, Harmony Trailblazer, right? Spam your skill, cast dance, all that. So this skill point, I would say, is the most important factor over here. That doesn't really mean that it's irreplaceable, because introducing the power of dance. Luckily for us, dance is a Harmony Lightcone. And there are scenarios where you will actually opt in for dance over her signature Lightcone. To be fair, this is a very, very niche case, right? These are not for the general population. Most players, if you want to just chill, whatever, getting the Ruan Mei's S1 is gonna be, you know, just wrap it up and done with, right? But for a much more niche situation, sometimes you might actually just slap on both units, Harmony, MC, and Ruan Mei, to have dance. And then you slap on like an E2 Fugue. You have 3 dance in one team, which honestly is a little bit funny. But yeah, something to consider. I would say though, regardless of all that, this Lightcone is still a very, very good pickup. I don't think it's as diabolical as Topaz, because I wouldn't pull Ruan Mei. Or rather, I wouldn't pull this Lightcone without Ruan Mei. So in the event where that happens, I'm still pulling the Ruan Mei over the signature Lightcone. Sarah thinks it's better than Topaz. Nah. I really don't think this is better than Topaz. I think for the general population, I think this is good enough. The energy is diabolical. Where is Caster's best Wi-Fi or the bro tip? Firefly's rank 1 simp. Did bro went to sleep? Ah, shit, we lost the goddamn rank 1 Firefly simp. He's showering, bro dipped. I need an external opinion to tell me if this energy as well as the skill point is worth it. I don't think it's over Topaz. At this point, it's either tight or I'm all in. If it helps Fugue you a lot, it's worth it. It's tight. It's good for any break DPS. That is true. That is true. It's just like how Topaz Lightcone is good for like any full-up team. Worth it with easy or Firefly. Okay, Casual's Wi-Fi. Do you think Ruan Mei's signature deserves to be I'm all in angle or is a tight angle? This is not Firefly, by the way. This is not Firefly, by the way. Tight because we have DDD. The power of DDD. I'd say it's tight. Sold! The rank 1 Firefly simp has spoken, right? If he says it's tight, then it's tight. Done. Sarah, wahaha, it is what it is. Moving on. Dr. Ratio's signature Lightcone. Dr. Ratio's signature Lightcone. Ooh. Number 1. Even if you want it, you can't even get it. This is like a legendary Pokemon. Blood hasn't gonna rewrite in 10,000 years. So, this is a pretty gosh darn rare Lightcone. Number 2, it has a lot of words. Crit damage increase, crit damage dealt increased by again up to 3 times, increased damage dealt, and enable us to ignore 24% of the target's defense lasting for 2 turns. TLDR, it is a pretty substantial damage increase for Dr. Ratio back then, and even for now, this Lightcone, in terms of numbers, it compares diabolically well to Feixiao's signature Lightcone for herself. Because Feixiao's signature Lightcone, or rather her ultimate, it also counts as a full-up attack. And this will allow all of her skills, they all get this defense ignore. So I would say this Lightcone, if you guys are like, you know, to be fair, very little people still pull for Dr. Ratio, but you basically either use this for Feixiao or Dr. Ratio. I guess you could give this to like a DPS Topaz. To be fair, you could use it as DPS Topaz, except that the fucking ultimate is not an attack. So it is completely fucking worthless. So at this point, it's basically just Feixiao and Dr. Ratio. Alright, it's basically just Feixiao and Dr. Ratio. March 7th, I would say March 7th would prefer Topaz signature more, because her role is still kind of like getting the debuff stacked up. And I'm not sure about you guys. I wouldn't run the main team as March 7, especially in full-up team, right? But that's just me personally. I would say that this is not too bad. It's just that the wearer is no longer with us because bro is deceased. And Feixiao, between this or Feixiao, if you could just pick one, I would just stick with the Feixiao Lightcone and just slap it onto Feixiao itself anyways. So I would say this is probably... Oh my god, don't give me 1 second. Let me finish up this tier list. Yep. Yeah. I would say this is probably at a... I think I'll park it to somewhere around lower than Jingliu. Yeah, because at least Jingliu, she's kind of like the one of a kind. Whereas for Dr. Ratio, it's kind of like if you could run Feixiao, you would just run Feixiao. Then you don't really need this anymore. Yep. Okay. Then Black Swan. This used to be really, really good. Where is it? Eh? Am I blind? Yep. This used to be really, really good. And then bro got power crap by Jiaqio's signature. Like straight up, if you guys have seen my Jiaqio's early access, Black Swan, or rather the damage you get from DOT, you literally deal more damage as a team if you were to slap her with Jiaqio's signature compared to her own signature, which is a little bit crazy. Because this gives you a more team-wide damage increase, specifically because of the concerned... Oh wait, the cornered state. Concerned. the corner state, right? Increase your damage received for 14%, lasting up to 2 turns. On top of all this, right? So this is basically the Black Swan signature light cone, but better. So if you were to ever want to continue playing DOT, I would say that Kafka's light cone would still hold a higher value, since this does give us a much more needed speed increment for our trigger. And then for Black Swan, if you want to pull a Black Swan, and if you still want to stick with Black Swan as a DOT trigger, or rather DOT bomb, and depending on what DOT is coming out, you could just consider pulling for Jiaqio signature light cone instead, and you would literally just deal more damage. So the big bad P word has struck. And I would say this is more or less an adios angle. Like, I just wouldn't be spending strategies on this. So, it is what it is. Okay! Sparkle signature. I've said it once. I've said it second time. I said it a billion times, and I'll say it again. This is not Sparkle's signature light cone. This is not Sparkle's signature light cone. Sparkle's real signature light cone is dance. I swear to. Okay, I know y'all keep saying, yo, it's 10% crit rate and 28% crit damage. It's diabolical crit value, right? It's diabolical crit value, on top of giving us even more for Sparkle herself. Okay. First of all, Sparkle is also dead. Sparkle is also dead because of Sunday, guys. Sunday not just basically get it better. You can quite literally just use this shit. So it kind of just, it is what it is, right? It really just, it is what it is. Second of all, this is not pertaining to Sparkle itself, but I've mentioned before the crit dilution, right? The dilution in the value of crit that we have nowadays, with especially the introduction of Sunday, we're getting so many different forms of crit from Sunday, as well as even Remembrance Trailblazer. This is not that significant. And as time goes by, when you play Honky Starbucks, your relics will just keep getting better over time, right? Unless your relic has been the exact same for the past 2 years. With more time, your relics will grow stronger, which will inevitably erode away how much more impactful this does for you. Maybe back then, right, before all that, before Sunday, a lot of people didn't have good relics, and if Sunday was not a thing, you guys don't even care about the DD value, then sure, maybe this was not that bad. But at this day and age, even for my own account, I have never thought of, oh my god, I wish I had Sparkle's signature. I wish that, I was not running DDD right now. And not to mention the whole, the gacha smack thing, 125 Sparkle with S10 DDD with the Ruan Mei. Yep. All that is not going to be possible with a earthly Azkaban, right? So as a result, I'm also going to be... Okay, maybe not as low as the rest, because 10% crit rate is still pretty good for the casuals, right? For the peasants with no crit. So maybe, the Wahaha no crit, yeah, maybe a little bit higher, but I wouldn't say it's that high. Probably somewhere in the... Okay, to be fair, you know what? If Blade is gonna be here, I need to make a bit of an adjustment. Okay, Blade can't be there, guys. At this point, okay, let me just make a bit of an adjustment. Let's just drop Blade here. And then this is gonna probably something like... Yeah, probably something like this. Okay, I think I'm gonna do this, yep. The reason why I drop Blade down is also because, theoretically, if like... Okay, yep, Acheron's signature light cone. Dun 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 dun. This light cone quite literally caused a goddamn drama. There was this whole kerfuffle, even Tagtone got involved, oh, the creators are getting silenced, whether or not people should be pulling for. This Lightcone caused so much goddamn fucking controversy. You could quite literally say this Lightcone changed everything. It changed the landscape of what it feels like for a DPS to get a signature Lightcone or not get a signature Lightcone. Because I think we can all collectively say the increment of this to Acheron as of up till this point, is the most impactful for any DPS. Not really because of the damage, but because of the stack. It's 1/9 of an Acheron ultimate cost. Alright? And Acheron getting her ultimate as fast as possible, it was everything. Maybe sometimes for like 0 or 1 cycle clears, maybe you don't even feel it. Right? Because you had like, you ended the battle with like 6 stacks remaining or 5 stacks remaining. You are not going to squeeze out an extra ultimate anyways. So maybe for some scenarios, you wouldn't feel it. But as the fight gets longer and longer and longer, every single time it reaches Acheron's turn, you get this additional 1 more stack whenever you cast your skill. And then we have fuckers like Sunday. Alright, you literally have fuckers like Sunday, you have even more action value advances, which means that even when you pair up Acheron with that action, it means that she gets even more turns. Which, once again, amplifies the impact of this additional 1 stack. Everything else is just like, you know, yeah, sure, deal more damage, excellent, right? So, I would say at this point of time, and also considering Acheron's current standing, right? Current standing in the meta, she is still, me personally, minimum tier 0.5 DPS, if not close to the tier 0 caliber. She's still an extremely, extremely strong DPS. I mean, an Emulator is an Emulator, right? So, for all that reason, if you are pulling for Acheron, which is still a relatively good pool as of this day and age, and you have not gotten her signature Lightcone, I would say this is a pretty fucking diabolical Lightcone. Alright? At least, okay, now that I look at it, you know what? Ruan Mei deserves to be tight. I'm okay with Ruan Mei not getting this, it's fine. I'm not okay with Acheron not getting this. So I think this perspective, right? Perspective, right? It's all about perspective. I think this is G. You know what? I think it might just be more important than Topaz. I'm sorry, guys. Alright, okay, I'm sorry, Topaz. I think it's more important than Topaz at this point, because Acheron is just that much more impactful, if I can say so myself, right? If you are looking to build an Acheron team, this is one of like the first steps. It's relatively cheap. You don't have to build like a E2 Acheron, slap it on, more or less done. And then you're hopefully get a Jiaqio doing his rerun. Between Jiaqio and his signature, I would say Jiaqio is still way more important. But after that, getting this would be essentially your next step, alright? So this is breaking your rules of I'm all in. The rules have changed. There are now 2 rules. You know what? Fuck the rules. I'm the rules, right? The rules have changed. There are now 2 rules. Rule number 1, the Lightcone is so good, I can skip a unit for the Lightcone. Rule number 2, the Lightcone is so good that if you don't have the Lightcone, I will pull on the Lightcone. Yep. So these are the new 2 rules. The new 2 rules. Absolutely. Aventurine. Rules are meant to be broken? Hell yeah, brother. Aventurine. Mr. Bust. It's pretty good. It's not insane. Because I would have preferred if this was your allies. If this was your allies' crit damage increase of 40%, that would be a pretty substantial damage increase. But the fucking wearer of Aventurine, because majority of Aventurine's damage is not really from himself, it's more like from Bubbin and activating Bubbin's additional attack. So if this was your allies with shield gets this, that would be insane. That would be really, really good. This, aside from Acheron, it's not as significant. Because if you were to give this to Aventurine, right, you can actually get the additional debuff from this alone. So this is honestly pretty decent. 10% as a multiplier is just a little bit low. So for players that are using Bast in like your Feixiao team and all that, and if you already have like a pretty decent Japar Lightcone, I wouldn't go out of my way to pull for this. It is still a decent damage increase. Damage increase, still damage increase, because Japar has no damage increase. But I would say it's not as crazy. So I would say this is like a... I think it's an I guess tier. Probably somewhere around this ballpark. Yeah, I think this is pretty accurate. I think it's an I guess. Bubbin Lightcone. Flowing Night Glow. I know we always have the discussion. Alright, we always have discussion for who is stronger, Bobbin or Ruan Mei? Night Glow? Wah. Unfortunately, at least in my opinion, Bobbin's Lightcone doesn't have the same impact compared to Bobbin herself. The main reason is really tied to opportunity cost once again. Alright, this energy regeneration rate up to 5 times is 15%. If you're someone that has been pulling for a while, eventually you could reach a situation where your Bronya signature Lightcone can literally give you more of this. If you had an S5 Bronya, okay, like, I don't want to be armed. S5 Bronya is 18%, guys, which is technically 3% more. And it doesn't need a ramp up time. Okay, anyways, okay, I'm not gonna talk about S5, right? When S5. Okay, I'm not gonna talk about, let's just talk about S1. So it is still not too big of a gap compared to 15%. This is a little bit sad. Condenser increases the wearer's attack by 48%, but this second line, 24% only lasts for 1 turn. So in terms of damage amplification, this honestly goes away very, very quickly. Especially if you want to continuously use Bobbin with another action value advancer. I hate the fact that a lot of these, like any light cones where their effect only lasts for 1 turn, and it takes a while to refresh, is really, really bad. Because when's the next time you guys are gonna see a Bobbin out again? Yep, probably 10,000 years later. Or if not, the entire wave. Because Bobbin casts her ultimate very, very infrequently. So this line, it might as well just not exist. Alright, it straight up might as well just not exist. So the main purpose would essentially be the ER as well as a little bit of Bobbin's personal attack. I would say that at this juncture, the impact is not going to be as crazy. If you do not have a Bronya signature though, then I think this would be a pretty decent pickup. But I think this would be somewhere in the same... It is Bobbin's turn. Oh wait, it's Bobbin's turn? Oh shit, I'm a tourist. Ooh. Yo, editor crop. Yo, editor crop all that power. Yo, I'm a tourist. Okay, I'm a tourist. Okay, editor crop all that power. Ooh. Okay, guys, I'm sorry, guys. I don't take the time to read through all the units 24/7. Right? I'm not a chat GPT, okay? Am I getting cancelled again? Alright, am I supposed to know everything? Calm the fuck down, guys. Alright? Hey, my bad, right? I apologize. Okay, editor crop all the power. Probably fair to put it here regardless though. Maybe more than Bronya S1, but not that high. Yeah. Maybe not that high, but it's still not... Yeah, okay, I don't think this changes anything. Maybe a little bit higher now. If you have no Bronya signature, I think this is pretty good. If you really have it, then it's kind of pointless to go for it regardless. So, yep, that's pretty much it. Booty chicks. Data's almost type Boothill. 60% break effect, 20% defense ignore, and 12% speed increase. Every single line here is absolutely diabolical, and I believe we have no other alternatives. Yup, we have basically no other alternatives in terms of a 100 light cone that can increase our break damage, speed, defense down, and everything, right? So the only other thing is this adversarial, which gives us speed buff. Or if you want to care about this Yanqing light cone, gives us anything with speed. I guess it's not that bad. But Boothill's light cone, it kind of just... Mose's light cone. Oh, right, there's a Mose light cone now. Oh, my lord, guys. I completely forgot about a unit that I never play. Okay, you know what? Yep, Mose light cone is here. Hey, yo, editor, crop that part out. Oh, shit. Then Boothill's light cone wouldn't be that impactful, I guess. Ooh, yeah, okay, I guess with Mose's light cone. Do we have defense ignore? Still defense ignore though. Okay, you know what? Defense ignore is still defense ignore. I feel like it's still not too bad. You could, because technically if you want to think about it, if you want to get a high defense ignore, you either get this S1, 20%, or you pull for Eidolons. And generally speaking, Eidolons are always going to be more costly than your Lightcones. So I guess it's okay. Probably like a category. Yeah, I think I'll put it at because defense ignore is still a pretty good defense ignore. You can compensate this with like E1 Ruan Mei, or E1 Lingsha, or E1 Boothill, but all of them are technically going to be way more expensive. So I would say it's a pretty right. It's a pretty Firefly. Okay, I think for the first time, I don't think Firefly's rank 1 sim. I don't think Firefly mains are gonna disagree with me. Firefly's Lightcone, frankly speaking, has quite a lot of replaceability. Because we have the GOAT 4 of an Aeon. Luckily for us, Firefly, their break effect conversion from attack is quite good. So even if you were to not run Firefly's signature Lightcone, 4 of an Aeon is a very, very, very good replacement. And I think since day one, we have kind of just discovered this. This is a very, very diabolical side grade 2. And the best part is it's completely free. It's not even the 4-star gacha. It is literally from Herta, so it is completely free. Most of the time, I think in terms of upgrade, it's always E1 Firefly, and then E2 Firefly, and only after E2, if you still want to go all in, you can kind of consider getting this S1, right? Because at that point, E4 is going to be very expensive. So we could all come to a happy agreement. This is not great. Probably, okay, I think at least it's better than, probably better than Seele. Yeah, not the end of the world, because I mean, after E2, you have to go somewhere, right? So I would say somewhere around this road, right? But it's technically still not that good. Jade's Lightcone, 12% crit rate, skill and ultimate damage by 60% for 3 turns. And also, hey, wait, I'm fucking blind, bro. Oh my fucking god. Okay. Yeah, that's crit rate 16%. Damage increase stacks all the way up to 4 times. So basically 200% crit damage, 48% follow-up damage, ignores 20% of the defense. I believe this was our first replacement for the Battle Pass Lightcone if you are gonna be using QQ. Because this honestly suits QQ extremely, extremely well. Crit rate, follow-up damage from Altaki, as well as the defense ignore. Every other erudition Lightcone, QQ couldn't really make use of it by that much, and we really don't really have another erudition that cares that much about the follow-up attack, right? Argenti can't really use this. I think Jing Yuan is not that bad. Is this higher than Jing Yuan actually? The Firefly mains have objection. I moved on. Okay, to be fair, 20% defense ignore is still 20% defense ignore though. I guess you can still use it on Jing Yuan. Yeah, you know what? I take it back. I think you can actually still use this on Jing Yuan. I just never tried it because I literally just put Jade like this patch. Jing Yuan can use this. Argenti can technically also use this. Because this is ultimate damage, right? Yeah, even Argenti can use this. You can just force use a basic attack though, that's the thing. Because you kind of have like Jing Yuan with Sunday, right? There are moments where your Jing Yuan can literally just use basic attack. So it's really not that rare anyways. So I think this is, it's not too shabby. Just from the versatility alone. Best in slot for Jade. I think this is basically best in slot for QQ. And then it's a not too bad of a side grade. So I'll probably rank this. I think around the same caliber as, probably higher than Fuxuan actually. Okay, maybe lower than Fuxuan because I think Fuxuan is the GOAT in terms of utility and sustain. So I think it's gonna be tight, or not tight, but tip top of I guess. Not really the same ranking as Ruan Mei. So I think this is okay. Yeah, high I guess is okay. Okay, Yunli's Lightcone though. Now Yunli's Lightcone is pretty damn tight. if I can say so myself. Where the hell is the damn thing before I fucking become blind? Dance at Sunset, crit damage increase by 36%. Increase follow-up damage by 36%, as well as the taunt value. I think we have... Oh my gosh, stop taking this out of context. We have seen the math of the probability of getting this taunt increase. It will drastically raise the odds of Yunli herself getting hit, which will basically be crucial to entirety of Yunli's kill, right? And the Yunli without the signature like compared to Yunli with is a pretty big world of difference. I just got this in differently. Form of an Aeon, I guess, is gonna be usable, but you can't really replace the taunt value here. Unless you want to grind for RNG, or you're gonna be up against an enemy with like all AoE attacks. Aside from that, this would be a pretty good thing. At the end of the day, it is kind of Gamba, so if you don't want to Gamba, then I guess you can say that this changes very little. I would say this is really, really good for Yunli. And if you are Yunli main and you want to play Yunli, you can technically also run this with Blade to a certain point. Technically, you can run this with Blade. Yeah, you technically can just run it to Blade. You can also run it to Kla, yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, you can, right? Taunt value is good for Blade. He wants to die anyways. So, Kla, Blade, they can all kind of run this. Most likely tip top of... Should we... Yo, chat, tight or I guess? Tight? Let's make it tight. Police. Okay, you know what? Second to Ruan Mei, I think she's good enough to be in this category. Okay, Jiaqio, I'm not gonna repeat myself. She did basically the better Black Swan Lightcone. So I would say this is really, really good. I would have ranked this tight, but unfortunately we have Resolution, which by itself is also a very, very good source of debuff. So I will give this the tip top of I guess, if not for Resolution or even like the before tutorial. I think this will be a little bit higher, but I think for now this is gonna be a decent high, I guess. Feixiao, should I just be biased? Biasness. Okay. Cancelled. Bot. W. Mr. Biased. Cancel me. Okay, I don't really wanna I don't wanna hear none of that. I don't wanna hear none of that. Alright, I don't want to hear none of that. Okay, fine. Yeah, Feixiao can use cruising at Stellar Sea, right? Feixiao can technically... Oh my lord. Okay, fine. I'll just... Oh my lord, man. Okay, fine. I'll give it like... Okay. Oh my god. Okay, you know what? I guess... I'll give it to around Jade's caliber, right? I'll give it, I guess. That's the most I can do. To be fair, it is... Yep, it is a good amount of damage increase. Alright? Or we can... She can be tight. Okay, she can be tight. Alright, chat has deemed that she can be tight. So, I am gonna rank this. Oh, Sarah is gonna kill me. You know what? I think she's tight, so she's tight. Alright, hey, move on. Lingsha's Lightcone. Lingsha Showcase Lightcone. Lingsha Showcase Lightcone. Send alone stays true. Essentially, in this woe-free state, increased damage is for all sources. So not just break damage increase. It is literally just an odd vulnerability for up to 18%. So it is a pretty darn good Lightcone. Just that there's a bit of a... It might be a little bit hard to decide if you want a Lingsha Lightcone or if you want an E1 Lingsha. Because technically, if you get this, you can slap it onto Gallagher. And this will be pretty darn good on Gallagher as well. If you get E1 Lingsha also does like 20% defense and all, and then the whole witness. Both are really, really good. DPS Lingsha wise, E1 technically does give you an edge a little bit more. And for the Cylinder Lightcone, you could still run like other like alternatives, right? You can have Quick Cool, you want to run Shared Feelings, all this kind of stuff. So same issue with Jiaqio. Yeah, there are alternatives, right? I would say this is still pretty, really, really good. Okay, you know what? Same caliber as Jiaqio. Probably a little bit higher than Jiaqio, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah, actually a little bit higher than Jiaqio. Because Resolution is just so fucking tight. So, okay, I think it's around the same category as Jiaqio. Rappa Signature. Okay, you know what? I don't need to get about this, right? we had a war with Firefly mains on Rappa being unplayable at E0 S0. She's dog shit. Everything, all that. I don't need to say what this does, right? Actually, I'm just gonna label this really fucking tight. It is really, really tight. I would say it's more tight than my wife actually. So not as diabolical as this, but I say this is really, really tight. Done. I'm gonna move on this, right? I don't wanna. Yep, it's Sunday. Okay. Sorry, I'm going a little bit fast, but I think we don't really need to go too in depth since these are very, very new Lightcones. Instant, I'm all in. This changes everything. Sunday at E0 S0 and E0 S1 is a completely different unit. From negative skill point to positive skill point. Absolutely fucking that. In fact, it might just be our first all in. Nah, you know what? Fuck it. I'm all in for Sunday. Absolutely. This is a game-changing shit, and you can legit just slap this on to all your point and target Sunday. So I'm all in Sunday. I'm all in Sunday. Fuck Acheron, fuck Topaz, blah, blah, blah. Fugue Lightcone. Similar issues as your Jiaqio and Lingsha, because resolution just busted. And resolution is actually even more busted for Fugue because bro is nihility and your break teams, they all stack defense down. So sometimes you literally get more damage running resolution. The only bad side is you don't have the EHR, but you can kind of mitigate this with the the main stats and the substats. So I would say between these, I will probably rank it lower than Bubbin. Hail resolution. I'll still think it's not too shabby. But yeah, resolution is that good. And the Herta Lightcone. I would say this is tight, but to be fair, Bob is kind of chilling without E0 S1. Alright, Bob is still getting by with E0 S0. Skill point is kind of like the most important part to ensure a smooth playing experience. Skill, ultimate skill. Sometimes you don't have to worry about the thingy. It's definitely a more quality of life, absolutely. So it doesn't matter to Bob yet. In terms of damage increase, I would say it's lesser than Feixiao. It's lesser than Rappa. Is it good enough to be tight? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna leave it at the bottom of tight because I feel like this has less replaceability compared to Lingsha and Jiaqio. Because these two, you have like your resolution, your quick proco, and all that kind of stuff, right? But this one, you are basically either running this or your alternatives are either other limited 5 stars or the Herta Star Lightcone, which is a pretty considerable downgrade. So the fact that these replacements are at your 4 stars makes them pretty good for me. And the fact that you don't really have a good 4-star alternative, I'll just leave this at the bottom of tight. I have Himiko Lightcone. I guess Himiko Lightcone. Okay, with that, we have come to the end of our Lightcone value tier list. Let me see if we need any adjustments. Nah, I think we're good. Because this has been going on for 1 hour and 12 minutes, so I'm never good. Word of the day is gonna be Jing Yuan Lightcone a little bit higher. Fuck no. Aglea Lightcone. May I object for 1 Lightcone? Caster's Wi-Fi. I don't even need a guess. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna hear you out. You know what? I am gonna hear you out. What do you want for Firefly Lightcone? I know it's Firefly. What the fuck do you want for Firefly Lightcone? I know bro is typing for Firefly. There's no other Lightcone bro is typing about. Can we ban Caster's best Wi-Fi? Leave it in adios. I don't give a fuck. They can be wrong. Sarah of the Lake. It should be tier because I tested it a lot during the banana boss and the performance difference is bigger than many think. Ooh. If Ruan Mei Lightcone is not, I'm all in. I fuck Firefly main OP discarded. It should be tier. Okay, should we give it to tier? The reason why I'm reluctant, right? I'm not saying the Lightcone is bad, by the way. I'm not saying that it's trash. It's just that if a free Herta Store Lightcone can perform this close to something you're spending so much Stellar Jades on, the value goes down substantially. These Lightcones, their replacements is like 4-star gacha Lightcones, right? Resolution, all that, right? This fucker's replacement is free 99, bruh. That's why I'm a little bit reluctant. Like, a normal player, I can't foresee them spending Stellar Jades to get this. Essentially. Firefly Stick is so much better, like 15% better. You can only have 1/4 of Aeon. Give 5 subs and it'll be 15%. 15 objectively, it's 15% better. Put it in the same tier as your... Okay, there's a difference in this tier, by the way. Like, at the tip top and the bottom, there's like a difference. Yo, editor, name this segment Firefly War. Name this segment as Firefly War. 10 to 15% increase for 80 pools, though, is a no-no. It's only 15% better in 5 cycles because of how sims work in practice. It's the exact fucking same. 15% is pretty considerable. It's not that close. It's a free 20% vulnerability, basically the same as Feixiao's signature. Also, the damage boost in free-to-play Lightcone doesn't boost Super Break. Rappa better either way is crazy. It's actually not too close because at many occasions the gap is not insignificant. E1 is still way better, but S1 is nothing to this at. S1 is nothing to this at. It is actually really, really good. Y'all are so out of touch. Break will die in 3.x. Who gives a... That is crazy. People get sunk cost fallacy about S1. I can't. No break vulnerability. Just do a poll. I will all in Firefly Eidolon. Her sign is above damage team increase because of how the delay in enemy works. Not worth the 65 Jades. Palm top, if I can pull a Lightcone for 65 Jades, 65 Stellar Jades, I'll pull it every single day. It's time to wake up, buddy. Oh, I meant 65 pulls? Yeah, okay. Put DDD in, I'm all in for the lows. Can we have a DDD special mention? 5-star version of DDD when? Okay, it's not a sunk cost fallacy. I love her, so I tested her in a lot of ways. And trust me, I know her secret ways more than people do. You know the secret of Firefly. I'm not even making this shit up, by the way. You know her secret ways. There are secret Firefly imaginary reverse curse technique. The secret ways of Firefly. Yeah, the secret way is pull E2, right? Yeah, that's a really, really good way. Okay, I think to conclude the war, right? To make sure that there are peace among all lands, I will now put Firefly above Rappa's signature Lightcone. And then we'll end this debate, right? So with that, we have come to the end of the tier list video. Join Twitch, join YouTube, join Discord, join TikTok, and join Twitter. All the best for a gacha pools, and I'll see you guys next time. Alright, take care. Okay, wait, editor, just okay. Editor, just ignore that.